We have one of the very first pre-production Acer 701 tablet models ever to be seen, and this Android tablet has all the bells and whistles. With a Tegra 3 quad-core processor, 1900 by 1200 capacitive screen, the first Android high-res screen we've really spent some time with, inbuilt 3G, standalone GPS, and ice cream sandwich. Have we whetted your appetite yet? Let's take a quick tour around. Acer have gone for a more rounded, softer design approach. Instead of the silver metallic material, Acer opted for a matte black casing with a back panel that evokes carbon fiber styling. Now this has resulted in a lighter and thinner tablet from its predecessor, and with this model weighing in at 705 grams and a hair under 11 millimeters thick. So, going around the 701, starting on the left-hand side, we have just the headphone jack and a power button. On the top frame, we have the volume and lock switch, which live on the left-hand side, and the almost invisible mic dot is over here, supporting the cameras, and we'll talk about those a bit more in a second. On the right-hand side, we have the micro HDMI output, and hidden behind this panel here, we have the standard SIM card slot and a micro SD card slot, which is good for up to 32 gigabytes of extra storage. Then on the bottom frame, we have the micro USB port, which doubles as the charging port, and next to it is the hard reset button. Now, one thing I noticed that is very cool is that the A701 can be charged via USB from a PC, not just the charger. Now, I think this is a first for large screen devices, and I hope we see more of that, and it just adds another layer of convenience. Now, the stereo speakers sit either side down here as well. Now, as we mentioned, the A701 also has a built-in GPS sensor and also uses assisted GPS. Now, Bluetooth 2.1 comes standard as for connection to Bluetooth keyboards and the like. Now, back to the cameras, we have a 5 megapixel camera that can autofocus and can film up to 1080p at 30 frames a second, and also has an LED flash. The front camera is a smaller 1 megapixel camera, but it can also record up to 720p at 30 frames a second. Video is recorded in the MP4 format. Software-wise, the 701 comes with ice cream sandwich installed, including the Acer Ring, which allows quick access to commonly used apps or functions, which can be customized to suit your needs. Now, as you can see, there are two Acer Rings, one here on the lock screen and one which comes up as an overlay on top of any activity you're doing. Now, the final thing I want to talk about here is the screen, which in this new pixel density conscious world will likely be a passionate discussion. Now, this screen is 1900 by 1200, and comparing it to the A500 screen is leaps and bounds ahead. I can't see pixels. It's definitely the clearest Android screen we've seen so far. Of course, the challenge will be for developers to produce content that can take advantage of this screen resolution. Naturally, we'll be on the lookout for apps and content that we can play on this to show you. Now, from a holding position, the widescreen landscape position is still the most natural position for this unit. And 1080p movies in the 16:9 ratio should look pretty spectacular, and I'm sure this is one reason Android tablets have stuck with this screen size and shape. Now that full high-definition screens are going to come to market, being able to watch native 1080p content in a widescreen format without black bars will probably be one of the big sales pitches. Well, that's our quick first look at the Acer 701, and as we mentioned, it's a pretty comprehensive offer from Acer. Now, feel free to ask your questions in the comments below, and we'll do our best to answer them. Okay? What's that? You'd like us to compare it to what? Until next time.